Hi and welcome everyone. Lisa here for Imagine Crafts. Thanks for taking the time to join me. So today I want to talk to you about UnInked pads. Now you can get two different UnInked pads from Imagine, the UnInked foam pad and then the Kaleidacolor pad. We're going to start with the Kaleidacolor pad. Now these are felt pads, so I used my Memento dye inks on the Kaleidacolors. Here I have a palette of Paris Dusk, Teal Zeal, Bamboo Leaves, Pear Tart, and London Fog. And this is a great way to create a unique palette that is your own. Now the next Kaleidacolor palette that I have has winter colors of blues, pinks, and purples. Just a great palette here. So we have Paris Dusk, Teal Zeal, Sweet Plum, Rosebud, and Angel Pink. Now with the foam pads, these are great for pigment inks because they are a foam pad. But I decided to try my VersaFine Clair inks on those. And here I have a palette of Twilight, Warm Breeze, and Morning Mist. So let's stamp with these and show you how fun they are. This is the dye inks that I use. Now just ignore that white little dot there on that stamp. It's a flaw in my stamp that I did not know was there. And we're just work around it. But because these are dye inks, I could come in with an alcohol marker and touch that up if I wanted to. So here you're going to see me, I twist that pad upside down and stamp blues to greens. I also stamp in the center to get a different look from there. You can twist it around and go from gray to greens. It's just completely, there's so many options with this. You can stamp it horizontally like I'm doing here and get a great ombre effect side to side. That's our dye inks. Let's take a quick look at the foam pad with the VersaFine Clair inks. I was really impressed with this. I love the look that I got from this combination of colors. It was a lot of fun. Now, at the end of the video, we're going to actually create two quick and simple slimline cards using the trees that we stamped here. I'm just going to go ahead and continue to stamp more of these. And again, the same thing applies with this pad as did the first that we did. You can twist this one and stamp one direction and go from blues to grays, or turn it the other way and go from gray to blue. It's just completely what you want to do. I do want to give you a quick tip on the foam pad. Like most of the pigment inks that come with this little plastic piece on them, you want to save that. That helps to keep your pad fresh and helps keep the ink from drying out. So what I do is I take a clear little double-sided piece of adhesive and I put it on the plastic piece, squeeze the center of my lid down onto that, and then it holds that plastic piece in the lid. I don't have to worry about handling it while I'm working with my cards. It does tend to get a little bit inky when you start handling it. Quickly, I wanted to show you the winter palette that I created. This is the blues and teals, purples and pinks. Now, one thing I noticed about the Kaleidacolor while I was inking up my snowflakes, the little mechanism that you pull and push on there, it does hit the lid of your Misti. And you have to kind of work around that. You can work around it as you see here. You just have to tilt your pad a little bit to get it to stamp the color down. So just keep that in mind, that you can use it with your Misti, but you just have to tilt your pad a little bit to get all the color stamped down. Not a big deal at all. I just didn't want you to get an ink pad and then go to use it on your Misti and think, well, she used it in her video and had no problems. I wanted to be very transparent that you are going to have to play around and twist that, tilt it a little bit. Now, one of the things that I love about the Kaleidacolor pads is you can stamp them to create that ombre effect, close together, or you can slide them apart and stamp individually with small stamps. So here I'm using these small detail stamps from the snowflake set I'm using, and I'm going to come in and stamp each individual color around that larger snowflake. So it helps to pull out the colors in the large ombre snowflake we did, but it's just a fun touch. and another fun way to stretch the use of your supplies. If you wanted just to use the individual colors, you can do that as well. So here, what I've done with this card is I've used an A2 card base, which is a 4¼ by 5½ inch. I cut a strip of cardstock or pattern paper, and went ahead and placed it on the left side of my A2 card base. Now I used tear tape for that. I did run the big snowflake that I stamped earlier through my die cut machine with the coordinating die, and I added mounting foam to the back of that snowflake. I centered it up on my card. I snipped the left side of the snowflake off so that I can use an A2 envelope for this card. Once I had all of that placed and stamped the little details around the snowflake and my sentiment, then I added some real tiny little gem stickers to finish it off. Now for our Slimline cards, this is a 3½ by 8½ inch Slimline card. I stamped a line first thing on my Slimline card base, and I did that so that it would anchor the trees down. I didn't want the trees to look like they were just floating in the middle of the card, so that line helps to anchor them. Then on this card, I came in with a tiny little star stamp and just randomly stamped those stars all over the front of the card. I wanted to do 2 versions of this card to show you could go all out with it, or you could just keep it clean and simple as in the next card I'm going to show you. Here I'm coming in with my silver jelly roll pen, and I am just filling in all of those open areas left from stamping. So again, quick and simple, we've created our own customized color palette with that UnInked pad and just had a good time with it. Now here's the quick and simple, clean, very clean card. Again, a 3½ by 8½ inch Slimline card base. We stamped that line down the center of the card base, stamped our sentiment underneath, just like we did with the first card like this. Only this time we left the background just plain white, and we were coming in with some tiny little silver dots on our trees with our silver jelly roll pen, and that's going to wrap us up. So great way to play around with your UnInked pads and create customized palettes. I hope you enjoyed this video. I truly enjoy sharing with you all, and I can't wait to share again. So take care, and I'll see you soon.